Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Abdulaziz. Today on the program, as we know, today is a deadline set by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for political parties to submit names of their party flag bearers and running mates who intend to contest the 2023 general elections. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, and its flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, announced Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as its presidential candidate running mate for the forthcoming election. The three major contenders, making it the first among the three major contenders in the race to adopt a running mate. On the front pages of the newspaper, however, news broke that move by the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, to submit Katsina State politician Ibrahim Masari as running mate to its standard bearer, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Also, news making headlines this evening indicate that the Labour Party and its candidate, former Anambra State Governor Mr. Peter Obi, are nominating former presidential aide Mr. Doyin Okupe as running mate to Mr. Obi. What is then to be expected in the forthcoming hours? Will any of the candidates be disqualified following their inability to produce a running mate? What is the expectations from some of these parties touted to have adopted dummy running mates? Will their names be replaced? Today on the program, we will be discussing these issues, the deadline of submission of the names to INEC, and other issues arising. Joining us in the studio to give perspectives to these issues, first, Mr. Abdulaziz Oniyangi, a former governorship candidate in Kwara State and currently the North Central Coordinator of Tinubu Support Organization. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
We also have Akirogun Yusuf, a supporter of the PDP and it is flag bearer, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, in the studio. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and good day, Nigerians.
And lastly is Barrister Joseph Undu, who is supporter of the Labour Party candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, let's now go on a quick break, and when we come back, the show will continue proper. Welcome back, viewers. This is Daily Politics. If you are just joining us on Trust Television, and it's now we are now going into the discussions, as we introduced earlier, around the issues of running mates for the political parties, for the candidates of major political parties. But just before we get into the major discussion, can I quickly pick your brains around the issues relating to the Ekiti governorship election, which is on the eve right now, which is happening tomorrow. The APC is the ruling government in Ekiti, and you had a very tumultuous primaries ending up with a candidate. How sure are you, Mr. Oniyangi, that your party can retain Ekiti?
Well, I mean, I think we're on course. I think we've worked very hard, and I believe so much that, from the campaign, you could see the crowd, you could see the acceptability of the candidate as well. So I think it's the litmus test, of what we're going to see in the main election itself. I think we're going to retain APC, the government in Ekiti.
Okay. So he mentioned that it is a litmus test, which I want to agree with him. But in terms of litmus test, especially for you as opposition, the major opposition party going into the maybe the first major election since the victory of your candidate in the primaries of your party, how do you view the strength of PDP going into the Ekiti governorship election?
Thank you very much. I need to add that I'm the head of PR, public relations in Atiku Media Office.
Oh, thank you.
Ekiti is our forte. It's a place we've been to several times. And PDP quite strong there. I see 3-horse race now in that place, so to say, with Engineer Oni on the ballot for SDP, with the PDP and the APC. The good news is that INEC is doing its best. We've seen the show of strength by the security, and with the electoral law and the use of the electronic transmission and the rest of it, nobody's going to have a lot of carnel voting. You know, the palm carnel kind of voting where you get millions of votes. I'm not expecting any party to have so much votes. There may not even be a clear winner at the first instance.
For the governorship?
Yes, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I'm just telling you, because it's going to be it's going to be close. You know, because since as soon as you get registered, you vote, and it's transmitted. And like INEC was saying, that you are likely that everybody's going to see it. There's a portal, they will announce soon that as you are voting, the result is counting, both in Ekiti and Abuja and on the net. So therefore, with the president of the security, one thing I could also see voters' apathy in terms with what happened in the war of recent. A lot of people are trying to avoid a large gathering. They don't want to be crowded in a place. But let's hopefully see what happens. There could be low turnout. But I think it's like you said, it's a litmus test for INEC and the voters as well.
Barrister Ndu, one issue is that, a lot of times we focus on these two major parties. And then, of course, this election season, we are seeing an upsurge of very vibrant third force, maybe other alternatives like your own party, the Labour Party. How is, maybe beyond just your party, how are these other parties, aside these two gladiators, going to show, what are the chances of these parties in this Ekiti election?
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I want to let you know that officially I'm not a member of Labour Party, but I'm supporting P2B.
Okay.
And in the forthcoming election.
Oh, but so then, as I said, that's why I said, for example, the chances of other parties other than these major ones.
The truth is that everybody is tired of these two political parties. That's the truth. APC and PDP. We are all tired. We are now looking at the candidates. What do you have? What do you have that APC and PDP don't have? So we are looking at the possibility of presenting fresh ideas. It's not about party. This election, both the one that is coming up, we must commend INEC so far for their efforts. But this election is not going to be based on party. It's not going to be based on political party. So the election that is coming up in Ekiti, like you rightly said, the chances of Segun Oni being the SDP candidate, his chances are high because of his incidents. I'm not holding brief for him. But what I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't rule out the chances of other
parties other than these
two parties. You shouldn't rule out that chances.
Well, Ekiti is an interesting state. Aren't you apprehensive, especially because, it is a state that is like a swinging state, kind of, from it is electoral antecedents in the past?
You see, one thing you need to understand about areas like Ekiti, Ondo, access is the level of awareness, education, as far as this country is concerned. They are not pushover people, the citizens around there. So, I mean, for me, like I keep saying, it's a litmus test. Sometimes, you could lose, sometimes you could win. But ordinarily, if you look at the spread, the two major political parties have the spread around that area, So for me, I still believe it's a litmus test for us as a party and for every other party, considering the fact that they are well-enlightened people, they are people who knows where to go if they want to go. They know what to choose. They know the kind of conditions, the kind of thing they expect from the candidates, you know. So they are one of the most educationally advanced people in this country. You can't take it away from them, never.
Mr. Yusuf, there are issues around your primaries, which perhaps don't you think that those will spill over into your support for among voters in Ekiti State? Whether it's talking about having a southern candidate, there have been a lot of talks that PDP disappointed, according to some section of commentators, that you people disappointed the southern Nigerian populace because they had expected you to zone the presidency to the region. Don't you think that the outcome of the primaries, presidential primaries, will affect your chances in Ekiti?
Thank you very much. I'm from Ondo State. Ekiti used to be part of Ondo State. And one fact that is clear is this: every politics is local. As at now, nobody's talking about presidential. People in Ekiti are going to be voting as per how much is left in their pocket. How much is do they have fuel? Do they have security? The universities are closed because it is not for because fountain of knowledge. Universities have been shut down for over 6 months. That puts Ekiti people in serious disarray because this is a community where you have average of a doctor per house. So now people will be talking about that. People cannot go to their farms. These are the things that people will be voting along. It's not about whether this party or that party. People will see that a party that's in government that cannot protect the people. With the incident that happened in what do you call it, in our war of recent, everybody's aware, everybody's panicking. So these are the things that people vote along. So it's not an issue of voting, what do you call it, zoning or no zoning. Don't forget that former Governor Fayose was a formidable force in Ekiti, and it's part of the PDP. It's about the PDP winning, not about whether it's not a presidential thing. Every politics is local.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a short break at this moment. We've been discussing the Ekiti governorship election, but when we come back, we'll delve more into the 2023 presidential election and the issue of running mates, especially the choice of the 3 major parties that are represented this evening on the program. So do stay with us. Yeah, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and you can also watch us live on YouTube. Let's get into the conversation. And as I earlier introduced, we have in the studio Mr. Akirogun Alaba Yusuf, who is the head of public relations in the Atiku Media Office, and Mr. Abdulaziz Onyangi, who is a supporter of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and a zonal coordinator of the North Central of the Tinubu campaign organization. Then we have a supporter of the Labour Party candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, in person of Barrister Joseph Ndu in the studio. So let me fire the first shot at you, Barrister Ndu, because I can see the excitement. What gives you, confidence that a party like a Labour Party can actually spring a surprise for the next year's election?
Okay, 2 months ago, Labour Party wasn't a force in Nigeria, but with the coming in of Mr. Peter Obi, he is not just contesting for himself, but Peter Obi's candidacy is for the survival of the nation called Nigeria. It's coming out for the youth. It's coming out for the emancipation of Nigerians. For the past 8 years, you and I can agree that we have been in penury, we have been in pains. So the emergence of Peter Obi as the flag bearer of Labour Party is a hope for the hopeless. Is a sort of, if not for I can't imagine the absence of Peter Obi in this election. It would have been the same PDP, APC. So the question you ask is that Peter Obi's emergence, his chances are high. It has never happened in the history of our political system that youths use their money to campaign for somebody they have not even met before.
Well, maybe there is a little correction on that. Some people point out to the Ribadu 2010-11 campaign under the ACN, where also it was driven by the youth. But that's just for clarification. Let me just take you into the real topic for discussion this evening, which is the issue of running mate. How is he going to balance that ticket? Okay,
the few minutes ago, we heard that Dr. Doyin Okupe has been announced as a running mate to Mr. Peter Obi. The truth is that from all indication, his running mate is likely to come from the north. However, in order to meet up with the deadline of the INEC, because from INEC deadline, they stipulated that today being the 17th day of June 2022 is the deadline for submission of candidates and their VPs. So I believe that Dr. Okupe is holding the position of a VP, pending when they will finalize who is going to run as the vice president with Mr. Peter Obi.
Okay, but as a lawyer, how do you see this issue of putting somebody's name as a position holder before maybe deciding on that?
Looking at the entire Electoral Act, there is no prohibition in that. The Electoral Act provides for substitution of names, maybe as a result of voluntary withdrawal or death. Do you understand? So it allows you to submit the name of any candidate. It allows political parties to submit the name of any candidate who, for any reason, withdraw from the race. So the legal implication there is that Doyin Okupe will voluntarily withdraw. And he will be replaced with any other candidate that emerges at the end of the day.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Well, let me go to the APC stalwart in the House tonight, Mr. Abdulaziz Onyuengi. One of the issues that has been very hot in the polity in the past week or so is the issue of running mate for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, your own party's presidential candidate. How is that? Where are we on that?
Yeah, I mean, a name has been submitted as a placeholder, Ibrahim Masari. And just like my friend just mentioned, I mean, there's still time for substitution, between now and July 15, either from voluntary decision or death. But a name has been submitted, Ibrahim Masari from Katsina.
But some say that shows like maybe lack of preparation or unseriousness. If you are submitting, you cannot make a decision on who to choose as a running mate maybe over a week after the primaries.
Okay, for us, you see, our party is a very large party. There are so many factors you need to consider. There are so many considerations you need to look at. And for me, that has nothing to do with seriousness or unseriousness. You still have enough time for that. If there was no time and we're running helter-skelter, that would have been it. But consultations have to be made. Everybody has to be carried along. You have to make very strong strategic decision because you want to, a complex country like Nigeria is a very big country. And if you really mean business, you just don't rush to do things. You take your time, you weigh all factors together before you can arrive at a possible decision that everybody will be carried along and is acceptable. And what do you expect from a large home? You don't rush to just make decisions. Strategic thinking is involved. Ingenuity is involved. A lot of factors you have to look at, So I don't think we are adequately prepared. It's a journey that we've been working on for years and years and years, and you don't dabble and rush into things. Don't forget, as a big party, you also have another big party you need to contend with. So many things. You have to weigh the competition, you have to weigh the opportunities, you have to weigh your weaknesses and your threats.
So with all these things that you painted, and coupled with, if I take you down a short memory lane, you remember that the president, just before the primaries, came out to say that he should be allowed to pick his successor. Then later, he recanted to say that he didn't have a prepared candidate, and then somebody eventually emerged. And now the party is dilly-dallying or not reaching agreement on who should be the running mate. Doesn't all this, if you put it together, show that maybe like the house is not in order, really?
No, I think the house is perfectly in order. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that rely on speculative informations. I mean, if the president said, I've not seen whether he said that on TV or they only said he said. I've not heard from a spokesman saying the president said, so I don't believe in we say. There are channels of communication between the president and the public. If anything is coming from that channel, so be it. Anything aside from that, for me, is grapevine, So,
Chief Alaba Yusuf, there is the issue, you are from the Atiku Media Office, and one very interesting issue now regarding, not really, let me withdraw the word interesting, but something that is really trending out there is the issue of the choice of Okowa as the running mate for Atiku, because a lot of people had expected Wike, and then you opted on to go with Okowa. What really happened? What informed the choice?
Well, it's been said that the word good is good, and the word better is better. But the word best, when the word best comes in, the words good and better becomes misnomers. Like he was talking about, we're talking about a large country, we're talking about diverse interests. Governor Wike will make an excellent VP. He's been performing in his state, and he's a national figure. Governor Udom Emmanuel will have also done well, because those are the three guys just listed. But when you look at it, you need to, it's what we call balance of power. We're in a sensitive country. That's why when you talk about Christian, Muslim ticket, people are now more into their faith because a lot of things are not going well. In the UK, nobody talks about your faith or no faith or where you live, because there's no government that will be there that the underground will not move or the trains will not move. There's no government that will be there that there won't be electricity. There's no government that will be there that will be shot and killed in the church or in the mosque or in your house. So what we're saying here, when you look at the balance, the Southeast has been a peculiar area, whereby in 2019, His Excellency Peter Obi was in our team. We worked together. He's a great guy. He knows his onions.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, but he's a technocrat. He's a technocrat. The Nigerian situation of today, you understand me? Sadly, does not accommodate such a person. I can tell you. But what we're talking about, when you look at His Excellency Francis Arthur Okowa, if you look at Delta State is a mini Nigeria in terms of diversity. You have the Sekiris, you have the Robos, you have the Anochas, you have a lot of people, contesting interests. Now, and data used to be very volatile. In the last 7 years, you don't see that. So you need somebody that can bring expertise or unification. This country needs unity. more than any other thing. It's when you have unity and peace that you can talk about security, that you can talk about prosperity. And when there's no equity, then...
But some people say that Mr. Okowa, with all respect to him, that he doesn't bring much to the table, especially in terms of political clout to help the ticket.
That is not true. Okowa, at the age of 22, became a medical doctor. At a secondary school level, he made Division 1. Right? He started his political... He was a public servant. From there, he became secretary to a local government. Later, he became chairman of local government. He became commissioner 3 times. He went to the Senate. He had 2 terms in the Senate. He came in 2011 to contest election. He didn't make it. He came back. He's running the 2nd term. Go to Asaba. I live in Asaba. I worked in Asaba in Delta during the Udwan administration. I know how Asaba is today. What we're talking about is not when you make noise. Do you understand me? And don't forget, his origin, where he's from Delta North, which is just a bridge away from Onitsha. Do you understand? Ika, where it comes from, is just, look at his name. Many of them, the Odogus, the Okogus, whatever, they're from people from Asaba, Abo, Abraka, they're closer to Onitsha. When you say Aniocha, the people from Onitsha. Do you understand me? You see people from Ibuzo, Ogoachuku, and the rest of them. Here is a man, look, he cuts across in terms of, he knows about local government, the 3 tiers of government. Local government, it was SSG, Secretary to the Government, State Government, Senate, as a legislator. So, what is it that you are expecting? If you get to the Senate, it will take a bow. Once a senator, always a senator.
So with Okowa now on the ticket, is that a strategic move to maybe bring in the vote from the Southeast?
Of course. Well, what else do we want to say? Look, I say just a bridge separating. What people are saying, I feel, when people say that, in Yoruba land, the other day when they chased Sunday Igboho, where did he go to? When they caught it, where did he run to? He ran to Cotonou. To the people, to who? The Yorubas in that place. Till tomorrow, the Yorubas in Yoruba land still see the Yorubas in Kwara, in Kogi, in Cotonou as one, even in Togo. Because of the scramble partition of Africa that made people to chop off people from their origins. You go to Megateri, the international cattle market in Jigawa. Is there a border between Katsina and Jigawa and Niger? No. When Samuel Turaki was governor, they brought me from England. And we went there. There's no border. They are the same people. We all move from one place to another. There's no way of taking the Igbo-ness from Rotimi Amechi, Honorable Rotimi Amechi. You understand me? But it's down to what our politics is today that people were asking you, where are you from, where are you not from? How many Nigerians are in the parliament in UK? How many of them are councillors? Do you understand me? Nobody will ask you. My children are British, as far as they want to say. But I know first and foremost, if they want to eat, they go and eat Ebola. They will go and eat, they used to here. As their favorite food, they eat jollof rice. So you cannot take the Africanness from them. But all I'm saying essentially is that it's same team. There are roles to play for everyone. There will be a special role for His Excellency Nyesom Wike. Definitely. It's a large house. But the fact remains that the PDP is a pace setter. When somebody means business, he means business. He plans.
We'll come back to you, Mr. Alaba Yusuf. Let's get back to Barrister Ndu Joseph. Now, the issue of what he has just painted shows that perhaps where your candidate major stronghold is a place that is known to be a PDP zone. How are you going to navigate that voting pattern of the people? into another party? And especially with, with an Igbo man, of course, from Delta State, that is now the running mate of the PDP candidate.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. One thing I want to establish is that come 2023 election, there is going to be a paradigm shift. What we normally have before is not what we are going to have. There is going to be a different game. It's not going to be game of where you are from, because hunger knows no tribe. It's not going to be a game of he's from here, he's from here. It's going to be a game of conscience. Who is going to sanitize this country? And the only person that has that capacity as it stands now is Peter Obi. That is one. Now, if we want to narrow it down to other factors that influence votes in Nigeria, we talk about religion, ethnicity and all that. The only candidate in this coming election, I've said it and I will repeat it, the only candidate in this election that will enjoy block votes is Peter Obi.
Why?
Thank you so much. Let's take a look from the southeast. You can, from what has been happening, you can see the turnout of voters, people turning out to vote, to get their voters card from the southeast. As I'm telling you now, other parties, including PDP, APC, and everything, they are dead in that part of the region. We have the worst performing governors in Nigeria currently in that part of the region, with the exception of Ebonyi State. So I don't know how magic. And don't forget that Southeasterners are people that, the issue of vote buying, and you can't influence them. Once they have made up their decision, this is who it happened last election, with due respect, they voted for Atiku. So the issue of saying Okowa is from here, this, we are not even thinking about tribe. We are thinking about conscience. What can he bring? Now, if you talk about other factors that will favor him, the workers, the civil servants that are owing salaries, Peter Obi has it on record that he is the only governor that never, during his term as a governor, owed salaries to workers. If you're a worker, somebody is owing you, some states, I don't want to mention states, are owing 6 months, 1 year. Now you have the power to make that change. And you start thinking or being influenced by ethnicity or religion. The answer is no. Because you know that any mistake you make is going to, the repercussion is 8 years. So this is the time for us to make change. And the only person that can turn our things around, the only person, like he rightly said, that already from all he have said, positions have been shared. There is a place Nyesom Wike is going to occupy. We are still going back to where we are coming from. So it is a politics of sacrifice in come 2023. People are not going to say, okay, I'm promising you this. I heard that his party, that all ministerial appointment has been shared before the election.
Well, we can't be sure of that, but let me.
I said I heard.
Let me ask one more question before I moved on.
Yes.
Your candidate, and you somehow reiterated in your intervention now, is seen as a regional candidate. Will the regional votes be enough to deliver him to the Asorok?
That is what I'm saying. He's never seen as a regional candidate.
No, but that is what you also confirmed.
No. He said, you asked me, we are trying to compare Okowa's that Okowa's.
You said that he is going to have
I said that he's the only person that will enjoy block votes. I mentioned that is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it, I tried by telling you that civil servants who are tired of being owed of their salaries, their pensions, are going to vote for him.
So let me ask.
The students who have been on strike for how many months? Do you understand? The students in Zamfara doesn't know the students in Abia.
The question, let's go back to the question I asked. The question is, will the regional vote be enough to get to deliver him to
the answer is no.
So what are you doing to advance the candidacy beyond the region, the southeast?
That is what I'm telling you, that the main thing is not about religion. The main thing is all about conscience. Nigerians are tired of suffering. So Nigerians are coming out to vote. Peter Obi in the next, nobody, Peter Obi was not a factor 2 months ago, as long as this presidential election is concerned. But when he left where he was, when he left where he was to a new place, people saw need to align with his dream. And people that have been aligning with him know no tribe. We have seen manner of people from northern states. We have seen the Yoruba. In fact, his campaign director and his interim person standing as a holder is from the Yoruba. So I have a whole lot of friends from the north calling that this is P2B they want. Yes, he may not be the normal politician that shares money and everything to influence people, buy votes. Do you understand? But there is sincerity of purpose in his aspiration.
Abdulaziz Oniyangi, the issue of, I know it's maybe APC chieftains are somehow tired of maybe being asked the issue of, the question of the running mate, the Muslim ticket, and whether you are taking a Northern Christian or whatever. How do you see the running mate affecting, your candidate chances, especially if we end up with a Muslim ticket, which is the most likely now?
Well, honestly, for me, really, I think it's just part of the political gimmicks and so on. I mean, we just mentioned that Peter Obi, appointed someone, Doyin Okupe. That's a Christian. Nobody is asking, Christian. For me, do we run a religious government or we want to run a reliable government? It's very, very important. Religion will not put food on anybody's table. If you go to United Arab Emirates, predominantly Muslims, who runs even the Emirates Airlines? Christian. Nobody talks about religion. Religion, when are we going to stop all this religion issue? For me, religious, we don't, in the Constitution, I don't know whether there's any religion. Why aren't we running Babalawo and Muslim? For me, I don't care what you worship. Religion is personal to everybody, and if you want to look at that on the basis of what's everybody, it's just part of the politics. For me, a reliable government is better than a religious government. What's for me? I don't even know what that means.
But don't you think that the Muslim ticket will be a problem for your party?
Let me tell you. Let's go back to history. When even we joined the military as well, when Aguiyi Rossi was the president, was the head of state, his deputy chief of staff to the Supreme Headquarters was a Christian. Nobody talked. When Gowon was in government, Admiral Way was one, Christian. Nobody talked. When Buhari was in government as the head of state, he had Idi Agbon, Muslim. Nobody talked. What people were talking about is, how do we put food on the table? How do we put food on the table? Religion will not help anybody anyway. It has never helped. I didn't grow up knowing anything about religion. I grew up in a Catholic home. I'm a Muslim. We're respected, and I respect them. So for me, it's a strange thing, but it's part of the politics. And if you want to even look at it, Tinubu's wife is a pastor. They've been married for 40 years. The home is still intact. So where is this religion issue coming from? For me, I don't think it's an indices, really. For me, I think reliability is what we need at this point in time. We have a whole lot of problems, myriad of problems that we need to focus on. Insecurity, the economy is really bad. You can imagine what the cost of diesel is today. I don't care if that has not been done. The person who was running the economy was the number 2 person. So you start asking, how has that helped? And he's a pastor. So for me, I don't think religion, for me, is key. For me, what is key is a reliable government, not a religious government. When you go into a class, when you're in school, you never asked, what religion does your teacher practice? When you, like somebody rightly said, if you go into a plane, you're not going to ask your pilots, hey, is he a Christian or a Muslim? Is he going to land me here or there? No, I think we should de-emphasize. Nigeria, we are very smart people. We always have one indices to cut legs along the line. You're talking about, he was talking about Igbo issue. For me, what's that? Really, what's that? The important thing is, yes, my friend from PDP said he acknowledged the intelligence of Peter Obi. And it was assertive on that. So we're talking, and he said he's a technocrat. That means he's capable, but he's not a techno-politician. This is what he was trying to emphasize. So nobody says, we are all brilliant people. But for me, 2023 is what brings food on my table.
Mr. Yusuf, the Southern Middle Belt Forum this afternoon issued a statement in which they are condemning your running mate, Mr. Okowa, for accepting to be on the ticket with Atiku when there is a position of the Southern Governors Forum, which he's one of the leaders, that no Southerner should accept to be a running mate to anybody. And they called him, a number of names which I don't want to repeat. I know you are aware of the statement. What is your take on that?
Thank you very much. That's politics for you. If you want to do your true father or the first boyfriend of your mother, go into politics. All this will be, it's a family affair. People have to say something in order to be included. And the PDP is an inclusive government. You have serious-minded people. Let me tell you one thing about the flag bearer of the party. I don't speak for PDP, but I know so much about the man called Atiku. Atiku is one person that gives you room to exercise your creativity. He's liberal-minded. In our office, the coordinator of our Atiku Media office is an able person. I'm Yoruba. How many Hausa Fulani do we have in our office? Maybe 2. Atiku does not operate on the platform of whether you're Igbo, Yoruba, anything, but what can you bring on the table, like he said. Atiku is a wealth creator. When you talk about open grazing and the rest, Atiku set up livestock feeds, companies, 3 of them, in Noma, in Iju here. Atiku has a university. Apart from the university, he has kindergarten. Atiku school has done more than 500,000 feed to read, street kids. Atiku is one person that doesn't make noise, that I did this for this. Atiku would help you, he would never give you the chance to say thank you. That's the man we're talking about. Look, you have the man at the African Development Bank. We all know him, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. How did he become the president?
Well,
I understand what you're talking. I'm not David. I'm just trying to tell you. You understand me? If a man like that now decides to choose somebody as his running mate, I'm trying to tell you the capacity, the competence, and the awareness, the character certification of the man we're talking about. You understand me? He knows that when the party...
But we are talking about the issue of...
I understand. People calling people's names. Blame
the leaders, response
Excuse me, my friend. If you check, you have professionals, but we have professional politicians. You say professional, whatever. All sort of people, where was all those names? Where were they registered? CAC? People will say something. I saw the guy that was with us in the 2019 election that will not vote for his party, that is praying for the party to collapse. I won't mention names. He's my friend. We've been together from the time of 2007 election. This is politics. It's about relevance. Somebody will lose, somebody will win. You come back to discuss. They say, sorry, if Fani Kayode can go back to APC, do you understand my point? I'm only telling you, if Fani Kayode can go to APC, Dr. Odoye Okupe is like a senior brother to me. Do you understand? So what we're saying, this is politics. All the people, the long list of people, I will defeat Atiku, I will trash you. Do you know how many of them that got 0? But Atiku is not the kind of person that walk over the graves of people that they contest election with. He wants ideas from everyone. And that's why I talk about the comportment of a person. It was the great Nelson Mandela, Madiba Nelson Mandela, who said, what makes a man human is humility and simplicity. Ability to take pain and pleasure with equanimity. Okowa is not the kind of person that will reply anybody. The party has taken its decision. The flag bearer has taken its decision. The next thing is to see what would these people do for Nigeria. The election proper is about who will unify this country, who will make this country secured. When you're talking about Muslim, Christian, why do you, at public events, why do you have Christian prayer, Muslim prayer? Why do we talk about a quota system? People may tell you that politics is not about morality, it's not about religion, it's not about ethnicity, but they are all interwoven.
Okay.
It's about the numbers. I can understand why the Muslim things come. It's about numbers. So it's about winning. But at the same time, we need to be sensitive to other people's sensibility.
Mr. Ndu, how are you going, especially in the next, this is a long period. We have like 9 months. Issue of, structure is very important to political process. How are you going to galvanize a structure that is going to, what are you doing about it already to ensure that Peter is, has entered Jerusalem
I actually envisage asking that question because whenever you have any conversation, political conversation, APC, PDP will tell you there is no structure. P2B doesn't have structure, but the youths are P2B structures. The ordinary Nigerian suffering. The people that Nigerian leaders has failed are the structures. The people who will go to sleep and may not even wake up because of insecurity are his structures. So the structure is all about the humanity. The structure is not the physical office like you see Atiku campaign office, Tinubu campaign office. No. The structure, and mind you, the structure we are talking about is not even a creation of law. It's just a mindset. You feel that, oh, this building, there should be this, there should be that, there should be that. These are the structures. So the last 2-3 weeks, you have seen how his campaign has been moving. You have seen youths in their millions trooping out to get voters' card. Which other structure do you need that is greater than that?
That's a good conclusive remark because we are wrapping up the show. But before I wrap up, just in 1 minute, Mr. Oniyengi, I started with you and we are ending up with you also. What are your, what your candidates going to do, especially to sidestep this issue of running mate to ensure that what will you count on that would make the issue of running mate become an albatross for the ticket?
Well, I'm not sure that is a problem for the party, to be honest with you.
So what are you counting on to victory?
Yeah, like you rightly said, I mean, whether you like it or not, he knows the game because we are the two major parties. It's about numbers. It's about numbers. Tinubu is from a minority Muslim sector. It just makes sense that if you're going to have more votes about the numbers, it's a winning thing. More so, these two, Atiku, Tinubu, are veterans, whether you like it or not. Whoever wins amongst them is going to make Nigeria better. I have no doubt about that. But we prefer, and we say we want to be. Just like they say they prefer, they want to be. But it's about numbers. So it just makes logic to look at it very critically. Bulk of votes in Nigeria come from the northern part of the country. Tinubu is a minority Muslim. What are you going to do? What makes sense to do at that particular point in time? So for us, it's about numbers. And you have to be very strategic. You have to be sure of what you want to do. It's not going to be child's play. You're not talking of somebody you're going to walk over in this game. So you're talking about people who are also experienced. So for me, I think it's about numbers. We don't have nothing to fear about, the running mates or whatever. It goes beyond that, so.
Well, it's going to be an interesting 9 months to the elections. Is it 9 or 10 months?
Yes.
Thank you very much for staying with us for the program this evening. We have been talking to Mr. Abdulaziz Oniyengi, the North Central Coordinator of the Tinubu Campaign Organization, as well as Barrister Joseph Ndu, a supporter of Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party candidate, and then Akeredolu Alaba Yusuf, who is the head of public relations of the Atiku Media Office. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and we hope to have you another time on the show. And viewers, that has been a wrap on the program today. Thank you very much for staying with us, and do join us next time at the same time, the same station. I am Abdulaziz Abdulaziz. Good evening.